Section 13A-10-52, fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer in the state of Alabama, is a very serious, now criminal offense. All traffic tickets in the state of Alabama are considered to be criminal misdemeanors, but one thing that you should be aware of is that fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer has been moved from the Title 32 of the Alabama Code, which is the rules of the road, to Title 13, which is the criminal code of the state of Alabama. Section A of that statute indicates that it shall be unlawful for a person to intentionally flee by any means from anyone the person knows to be a law enforcement officer if the person knows the officer is attempting to arrest the person. So when we read that section, it almost sounds like resisting arrest, but resisting arrest is usually reserved for situations where an officer has someone almost in custody and the person is resisting. So I imagine that Section A covers the circumstance where someone may be in their home or in a crowd of people and they see a law enforcement officer and they know that the law enforcement officer may be attempting to serve a warrant, or they know that they have a warrant outstanding and the officer is looking for that person, and the person knows that they are law enforcement and knows that they are trying to arrest them, and the person flees. So that is Section A of the statute. Section B of 13A-10-52 indicates that it shall be unlawful for a person while operating a motor vehicle on a street, road, alley, or highway in the state of Alabama to intentionally flee or attempt to elude a law enforcement officer after having received a signal from the officer to bring the vehicle to a stop. So it's important to recognize here, number one, that it has to be intentional. So the person has to intentionally flee or attempt to elude a law enforcement officer, which obviously would include trying to get away and pull off the road to hide. And the key element here is the person has to have received a signal from the officer to bring the vehicle to a stop. So the way that I read that statute, there's two sections, there's two aspects that have to be present in order for this section to apply. And that is, in order to intentionally flee the officer, the person would have had to actually received the signal. So if the person who is driving does not see the signal, then their fleeing would not be intentional, in my opinion. So it's important to note that the individual who is cited for this section must have received the actual signal. And so it's important to note that. Section C goes over the punishment and the penalties associated with a violation of 13A-10-52. And it indicates a violation of subsection A or B is a Class A misdemeanor, which is the highest class of misdemeanors in the state of Alabama. And if the flight or the attempt to elude causes one of two things: actual death or physical injury to innocent bystanders or third parties, then the violation is not a Class A misdemeanor. It would be classified as a Class C felony, which is punishable by a year and a day up to 10 years in prison. This is a major issue related to this statute now that is in the criminal code. It's the section related to the driver's license suspension, and this is what that section says. In addition to the punishment that the person may receive related to a Class A misdemeanor or a Class C felony, in addition, the court shall order the suspension of the driver's license of the defendant for a period of not less than 6 months nor more than 2 years. So the Department of Public Safety here does not have the discretion when it comes to the driver's license suspension. That discretion is left up to the court, and the court makes the determination about how long the license shall be suspended. The way I read this is, if the court is silent or does not enter an order related to the suspension, then I imagine that the Department of Public Safety, through its director, would suspend the person's license for a period of 6 months. It is also possible that they may send the citation back to the judge and request an order related to the license suspension. It's very important for you to understand, if you are cited and convicted under this section of the statute of the code, your license will be suspended. No question. It's not, there's no issue there as to the license may be suspended. The statute is very clear and says shall be suspended for 6 months up to 2 years. My name is Joseph Kreps. I'm an Alabama traffic violation defense attorney. I have handled and resolved thousands of traffic tickets in the state of Alabama, and we can help you with your violation of section 13A-10-52, which is entitled fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer. If you've been charged in Alabama, all you have to do to begin the conversation is give us a call. You can reach us at 866-348-2889. You can also visit our website, www.trafficticketattorneyinalabama.com. All you have to do is call us. We'll be glad to discuss your case with you. We do not charge a consultation fee. We believe that you have the right to speak to a lawyer that you choose without having to pay to speak to the lawyer and get information about your case and receive information about the lawyer that you are speaking to about handling your case. Again, you can reach us 866-348-2889. Thank you very much.